have a busy day ahead. We will start like towards the beginning. Let's talk about the pods and things. You were one of the girls, I think, along with Raven, definitely, that had like a harder time with the first initial episodes. What was that like?
I actually had a blast in the pods. Like when I've been thinking about it and I remember my time, like I thrived. All we did was we sat around, we were horizontal on a couch and we talked about our feelings. So I actually and drank. So I actually loved it. Um, the reason why you see a lot of or so you guys see me cry a lot and like get in my emotions, and I think you don't see a timeline of the pods for obvious reasons because they want to tell a storyline. um so you see me at my points where I'm just emotionally drained, and you're talking for hours in the pods. I mean, in
Mm.
the morning, soon as you wake up, you're talking in the pods until you're going to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. So you're just kind of drained. You're not with your family and your friends. You don't have your phone. You're in this new environment. And I'm very hard on myself where the entire time, as the days would go on, I would be like, am I doing okay? Am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? And so when you see me kind of cry with the whole Brennan and Cole situation, it's just me getting in my head of, am I doing this right? Should I be doing something else? So I was just getting in my head. But other than that, I honestly loved the pods. I mean, we were just sitting around drinking, talking about our feelings. So it was fine for me.
Okay. So let me ask you then. I don't know if you're allowed to tell me, but how much alcohol did they give you?
Um, it was just they didn't like force it on you by any means, but they always had it available. So when you're just when you're just like hanging
Obsessed.
around, when you're just like literally you just and also I drank to ease the nerves or when I'm bored. So I'm just hanging around talking with these guys and with these girls. So obviously I'm gonna have like what's that drink where it's vodka and an orange juice. I forget what that's called, but I would have that a lot. Um,
Screwdriver?
Screwdriver. Matt's
Is that
asleep over there. Heard him go screwdriver. um, no, you're good. So yeah, I would just wake up and I would be like, all right, let's get this party started. So they always had it available. They wouldn't force it on you, but for me, I would take that alcohol.
was up same. I'm like, you wouldn't have to force it on me. I would take it.
Yeah.
Was there yeah. Was there anyone did anyone get like absolutely smashed in the pods?
You can tell that I'm absolutely smashed in the pods when Brennan's breaking up with me because my eyes are in different directions. I, I'm gone. I don't even that. I'm so drunk in that moment. Um, it was more like towards the end of the day when you would start to just you would let loose just a little bit. So yeah, you would get pretty drunk. Oh, I actually went on a date. I don't think it really matters, but I went on a date with one guy who's not one of the main five. And I remember he was like slurring his words so much. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? Like, hello? Like, someone come get this man. So you could tell when someone was like wasted in the pods.
Okay. I do wish that the pod bits was a bit longer. Like sometimes when they do the meet the family, then meet the friends, sometimes I'm like, we don't need to meet both of them. Like just do one or the other and show us more of the pods.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah. Yeah, I
was
agree.
it was that no
Sorry, go
go on.
ahead. No, it's just it's very it even though when you're watching it, it's very much like bam, like Alexa and Brennan, like they're in love and then they get engaged. Like it's very much like mushy gushy serious, where the pods is
Mm.
actually like a fun time.
Yeah, it sounds fun because there's 15 of you at the start, right?
Yeah, 15
Yeah.
men.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you obviously, when you applied, did you apply as like a ballerina, or were you like, oh, I'm a ballerina, but I also work in PR, and then did they run with the ballerina thing?
I told them all. So I have three jobs. So I dance, I work PR, and then I also work in a law firm. So I told them that I work all of those jobs. And I think that they just, I mean, ballet compared to the other two is a little bit more interesting. So I think that they just ran with the whole ballet storyline.
Okay, okay. I mean, I guess yes for them. And so when you were talking to the guys in the pods, were you like, "Oh, I also work in a law firm. I also do PR," but then we just really saw the ballerina bits.
Yeah, so that's why I actually like talking about ballet because it's something that I'm very proud of, and it has been something that has consumed like 90% of my life, to be quite honest. Like what I remember when I was younger, and as soon as you're 11, you go away every summer to an intensive and you learn like these amazing skill sets and discipline and so much. So that's why I actually like talking about it, because you can learn a lot about me, because that has become a majority part of my life. So I did talk about dance, but I also talked about my other jobs to show like how much discipline I do have and how I make it work, because professions in the arts don't necessarily offer a lifestyle that I desire. I'm very bougie. I like nice things, and on a dancer salary, you can't really get that. So I work a lot
Sure.
to afford that. So I did talk about my other jobs, me making the comments of, oh, I do the splits or I'm very flexible. I just kind of laugh when people are like, oh, she's sexualizing herself. It's, I mean, we're in a new environment. It's just me being playful and fun and like adding some banter, as you would say, into it. And it was more of like the splits is a very inside joke to me, because when I went to college, um, whenever I would tell guys or anybody that I'm a dancer, it would always be three things that they would say. It would be, oh, like the pom girls, so like cheerleaders, do a dance move for me, and can you do the splits? And that was always a running joke between me and my friends, like, oh yeah, I do the splits. So when I was with the guys, I was kind of doing like an inside joke to myself, even though they obviously wouldn't get it. And then the show took that one part and just like ran with it. So it was just me being funny and bantery in the pods. Like I never in a million years just go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm really flexible. I don't do that.
Sure. But you also know that like you're giving them a little trouser flutter.
The fanny flutters as
I don't
I'm
put a funny flutter on a man though.
true. I don't know. But I mean, I guess, but that was never my intention. Like when I was in the pods, I was never going to say like, oh yeah, I do that to make them think of another. I don't know. My mind just doesn't go that way. It was just me being funny. And if from what I recall, like a lot of the guys did start those comments where I would just like play into it. Cause like, I don't know, I'm a very fun personality, like fun time. And so I'm not always serious. And so it's just me being fun.
Hey, it's fine. We're not arresting anybody for being
I know.
flirtatious over here.
Yeah, after dating show, like I classify Love is Blind into like two different kind of shows. After the pods, it's like a very like reality show, but the pods is a reality dating show. So we're all dating each other. We've got to like put ourselves out there just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you also don't want to like endanger yourself of going straight into the friend zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you were in there, obviously, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like you were prepared to say yes to three people. Um, could be wrong, but you were definitely like semi-seriously dating like two guys before Matt. How do you feel when you see comments being like, "Oh, Colleen just wanted to fall in love. She said yes to anyone."
Um, so I don't know how much I can really say, but the timeline again, you don't really see that. You're not getting a timeline on Netflix. So I when I remember going through dating in the pods, I thought of it as kind of like rush or like recruitment, like sorority. You always had a top couple of houses, and Brennan and Cole were actually on the bottom two of my four. I had another person that I talked to that you don't see at all in the pods.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I had a very different storyline is what I remember in the pods. Cole and Brennan were kind of just blimps on my radar. Uh, and it was mainly that it was the rejection, because at that time when I was dating, I wasn't dating anybody seriously for a long time. It was more of like flings, just talking to somebody, little uh, like month or two relationships that they would just kind of like fizzle away. I never really had someone say, "Hey, this is not working out," in quite some time. So it was just like I felt kind of what I was said earlier, that I was being hard on myself, and then I was putting myself out there to these guys, and those two were the ones that had said, "Hey, it's not working out." So it was not necessarily who was saying it to me. Sorry. It was more of the rejection, and I felt like I wasn't doing it right. I remember I just kept going to producers and the girls saying, like, am I doing okay? And then when I feel like I'm putting myself out there and these guys say, hey, I'm looking at someone else, it just stung a little bit. With Brennan, it was a complete friend like relationship, and I'm just very intoxicated when he said it's not working out, so that's why I cry. And then with Cole, I don't know, I think he could agree with me on this one, that we never just connected in the pods. There was a reason why we weren't like speaking on the same page. And I remember he kept telling me in the pods, let's get deep, let's get deep, let's get deep. And I'm like, I don't know what that means to you. Like, I told Alexa, I don't have any sort of trauma in my life. Uh, I'm blessed with a great childhood, a family, friends. So I felt like I was being judged, that I didn't have anything traumatic happen in my lifestyle that has shaped me. And I felt like, you know, yeah, that might be boring to some people, but that doesn't mean that I don't deserve love. And I felt in that moment that he was judging me just for not going deep, whatever that meant. So it was more of a pride thing when he broke up with me, because I was like, you know what? I want to break up with you before you break up with me, you know? So at
Oh
that
my God,
time,
no, that is worse.
yeah. So at the time, it looks, I mean, I get it from an audience standpoint, but when me and Matt think about it, Matt was always my number one, and then I had a number two that wasn't Matt, or Cole and Brennan. It was someone else. So
Oh, so that was initially the top of your list.
Matt was always number one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and people won't believe me, but it is what it is. I remember day one, um, someone asked me, who's your number one? And I sat there and I was like, Matt. And for this past year and a half, I thought, um, you were going to see that, like me talking about how much I liked Matt on day one, because I thought that would be really cool to see how I'm talking about him, and then I marry him. And then that just gets completely cut. So it is what it is. But yeah, Matt was always my number one throughout the pods.
Because I do feel like when we were like watching it back, like at the beginning, you were taking like a lot of heat from the public about, I guess mostly it was like about the ballerina and the flexibility thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like there was like a change after the Malibu situation.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm sure you're probably like tired to death of talking about this, but
You're, I don't.
so when you were watching that back, was it like unfolding how you remembered it?
With the pool scene,
Yeah.
um, there was, yeah, it seemed like it was exactly what I remembered it. There was a lot of other stuff that was said where I do say, and I mentioned it in the reunion, that there's a reason why we didn't work out, and there's a reason why me and Matt were together, and why him and Zenab were together. Um, I, I thought in my head that I had shut it down, and I now see that I should have shut it down like Raven. Like, I wish I had Raven's confidence in just being like, no, sorry, I'm not having it. Where I have a tendency to like placate other people's emotions, and I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, it. I definitely remember shutting it down. That you don't see it, but I should have shut it down a lot, like as soon as he said those comments.
I mean, no, but there must have been a part of you that, like, because, well, I mean, I know you had said that you wanted to reject him first, but then was the one who was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go on with Zay."
Yeah.
What you that because he had done that and then seen you and then
Mm-hmm.
wanted you? A part of you must have been like, "Yeah, that's right,
You know,
bitch. That's how we do."
yeah, it's always nice to get a compliment. Don't get me wrong, but I felt very awkward because Matt's in the pool, Zenob's in the pool. So I was actually more focused on like, why are you doing this right now when our respective fiancés are literally right here?
Right there.
So it was more, I just wanted to get, I say it in the uh, Matt asked me the question on the boat. He's like, "What would you do if a guy came up to you?" And I said, "Oh, I would actually have an excuse." Like I felt like I couldn't do that in the pool. I couldn't be like, "Sorry, I have someone," because Matt's already in the pool. Like Matt, he sees Matt. I can't just run away. We're in this situation where we have to talk to each other. So I don't know. I mean, it's always nice to get a compliment, but my mind was really, how do I get out of this conversation right now?
Sure. And then when it was like, I don't know what that night was called. What was the night called when you had like the reunion, but with everyone?
Oh, at like the restaurant?
Yeah, is that what it was? The
It
night when like
or
Andrew said,
Oh yes, the at the Granada. There was like we went to the
oh,
Granada. Yeah, where we all saw each other right after Malibu. Yeah.
okay. So when it was like then being regurgitated again, even as a viewer, I was like, are we still talking about this? You must
Hmm.
have been exhausted.
Yeah, I we had all respectively moved on, including Matt, including Cole and Zenib, I thought. And when Matt came up to me and he's bringing it up again, again, I don't know if I can say this, but I just remember looking at the cameras and having like an office moment. Like just being like,
Yeah.
are we doing this right now? Like, I don't know what else I can say to make us move on because I feel like we're just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Like, I want to get off this hamster wheel. Um, and I told Matt that, and I, as soon as that night was over, we haven't really like talked about it since. Like, we've talked about it since watching it, but other than that, it was like beating a dead horse. Like, I'm tired of it.
Sure. So I just want to go off track quickly because somebody commented something, and I think it's actually a really good question.
Mhm.
Because I wondered this about season two as well. Do the contestants talk about their political beliefs, or are you like not allowed to do that?
We do. We talked about it in the pods. Uh, so yeah, where
What
they
are
can.
they? Who
Oh,
who are you voting for?
okay. But
Huh? You can't
I'm very,
say why.
for me, I know a lot of people that's very important to them, but I'm very open to hearing what you have to say. So I don't like, I don't know, that's not like a deal breaker for me, Even though I know it
Okay.
should, but just for me, like, I'm open to hearing all sides. So as long
Okay.
as you're a shitty human being, like let's talk about it. Let's have healthy conversations, but it's not a deal breaker on who you're voting for.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I went a little bit off track with that one, but I was like, let me ask now what I remember.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we were talking about like the Granada night,
Hmm.
and you were saying that you were also just like over this.
Hmm.
When that was the night, oh no, that was the Bachelor. Oh my God, you guys had filmed so much, even I get confused.
And there's scenes that like have been cut. Like we filmed a lot. We filmed a lot of scenes.
Yeah. So like, what was cut that you were like maybe like, oh, I wish they'd shown that, or you were like expecting to see it and maybe didn't?
It was more fun stuff that I wish that they would have shown. And there was a scene like you saw Matt's apartment, you saw my house. I was living with two girls at the time who have who are very protective of me, and they definitely like were asking some hard questions with Matt. Um, and then I have a really big friend group here because I don't have, my family is not in Texas, they're in Pennsylvania. So I have this friend group, we call ourselves the Supper Club. I know it's stupid, but we had a huge party at my house, and it was really fun. We were all doing like tube shots, and then all of the girls, like I think it was like 8, 9 girls, took Matt outside and just hounded him with questions. And I wish they would have shown that, because I think they kind of I wasn't there, but they told me what they asked and what his answer was, and it was a lot about like his past. And I think it would have been really nice for the viewers to see that.
Okay. Do you think there was some things that, like, do you feel like we saw the worst of you guys, like you guys at your worst? Or like did it get any worse? And do you feel like maybe some of the better bits we didn't get to see?
Yeah, you definitely didn't see the better stuff, like the nice, like we had some really great moments. And I get it. Like I understand, I'm not trying to bash Netflix by any means, because you have to tell a story and you have to tell an entertaining one. And so when you have that content, you might as well use that content. So I don't
Mm.
them for that. But yeah, we definitely had some amazing moments that I wish they would have shown.
Like
Oh, sorry. Our, I hear him moving back there, so I'm like, "What are you doing?" No, our the aquarium date, the aquarium, yeah, that was actually really nice. Like they only showed that one little conversation. Um, the whole boat was. I wish that they would have shown more. We were there for hours. And I just remember being on the front of the boat, or the yacht, sorry, with him. And we had some really great conversations. Me and my friends, um, his family, we had dinner there, and we had some really nice conversations. So I don't know, I think just providing more context maybe on those different dates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because I feel like when people were watching it, even me, like after there had been, you guys had the first row, after sort of like the second row, after the Bachelorette party, I think people were
Hmm.
like, why is she still with Matt? Like,
After the
where are the good signs? You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, and we actually, and I think I we spent a lot of time off camera. So those moments, like us resolving the after the Granada, when he's like, I can't be with a girl on a Wednesday or whatever he said. Um, we, as soon as that morning came, like we talked, and it was actually a really good conversation. But that was off camera, and so yeah, we spent a lot of time together. So and I don't want to be filmed 24/7. I don't want to be on a surveillance show by any means. So yeah, I think those resolutions, they were more off camera, which I know it can be frustrating for the audience, but it's just how it ended up being.
Sure. I guess that makes like more sense for us
Hmm.
though to know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
yeah, for
the night of like Granada thing, um, there was obviously bits that you hadn't seen as well when you watched it back too. When the Granada thing happened, and then Matt had said to Cole, "Can I trust Colleen?"
sure. Hmm.
How did you feel about that? Because it was you that had told Matt. It wasn't Cole that told Matt.
Hmm. Um, Watching, I don't know. So watching everything back, I think we all have to remember it happened a year and a half ago. So, like, this stuff we were like kind of well past, and like even our relationship is so different now compared to what it was, obviously, um before we got married. Like it's so different. So when I watched it back, it was more of like, yes, like this shows that I wasn't lying. Like I wasn't mad at Matt for asking that. I was happy that they had that conversation. And then I saw the comments where it was like, oh, why didn't he believe Colleen immediately? But it's just, there's so much going on. There's so many other factors happening. That did happen a few days after the pool. I think Matt was over it as well. He just wanted some confirmation from Cole that nothing was going on. And there was a game of telephone that was happening as well about the, oh, whatever happens, happens. So I think that it was just more confirmation that nothing would happen or will ever happen. I'm also not great with my words or articulating. So I think he was just, getting a clear no from Cole was like, okay, Matt can like officially like move on. So I wasn't mad at him at all when I saw that conversation.
Okay, I mean, I personally wouldn't trust Cole to tell the truth.
Oh, yeah, I think Matt was well over it as well. He just, I don't know. He getting that solid no from Cole. He was like, okay, cool, let's move on. And then brought it up to me. But after, like, I'm telling you, after that night, we did not talk once about that pool scene ever again.
Okay, after the
Granada.
after the Granada night. So
Mm-hmm.
when the night when you went clubbing, that was after the hen party, though, right?
No, so the clubbing was after the Granada party.
Oh, I thought it was, and then my brain
Yeah.
was like, no, that was the hen party. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So because obviously you hadn't seen his full reaction until you watched the show.
And I knew, like, we talked on the phone. I was like, dude, calm down. Like, but we were all wasted. We were all drunk. There was miscommunication. He got locked out of the apartment because I had the key. So he was just, it was a long night. I knew how he was, and I'm telling you that next morning, like, I'm like, no, we can't do this. Like, I'm telling you, if you pack your, like, why are you packing your bags? Like, calm down. So, uh, he knew, like, I saw in his eyes how apologetic he was the next morning, and just, I don't know. I challenge everyone to think about how, you know, to have people record you on your stupid drunk moments. And that was definitely a stupid drunk moment that unfortunately is being shown to the world. And he is, I mean, since that morning, he was so apologetic. I mean, I left him in the same spot. Like when I went to go to work, when I came back, he was in the same spot that he was in. He was so like, he kept apologizing. He knew that it was wrong. Um, and I mean, it took that situation to see like, hey, running from your problems is not the solution. So in the end, it's fine. Like, it's a learning experience.
Okay, so he hasn't packed his bag since.
No, he hasn't. No, I would kill him.
Also, you do know at some point you're gonna show us to him. Like we want to see him at some
Yeah,
point.
getting ready for work. He'll probably pop in behind me in a second.
Yeah, he can come say hi when he's all dressed and
Yeah.
ready.
I'd be scared of you guys. I don't know.
It's the internet. It's probably the scariest place on earth.
I know, but no, he's really scared of you guys, so he's probably just hiding. He's making my bed right now, so it's okay.
Well, do you know what? Brennan actually did the same thing yesterday on the live with Alexa.
He popped in and said hi. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
He's good. Can you make me breakfast? Thank you. Okay. He's making breakfast.
So I'm just gonna I need to post a video about this, but I'm gonna just tell you now anyway, and also for the people in the live that missed the one yesterday with Alexa, when we were talking, Brennan said that the reunion that well, sorry, forget the reunion about the stag night, the bachelor party. Matt had said, yeah, they did go out afterwards. Like the camera crew was even with them, so it was after filming. He said that they went to like loads of bars, so effectively saying that Cole was lying. Did you know that already?
Wait, so So Cole was lying?
Well,
That was
Cole said that they didn't go out and that they were
oh,
only at bars. Like it was just like, yeah.
yeah, they definitely went out. So like him saying that they didn't go out, that's a lie. But right? They went out.
Yeah, I mean, I got in an Uber.
Yeah, Matt left.
Shortly after,
Yeah, Matt's like, don't lump me in this, but he said, yeah, they went out, but he got in an Uber home.
I had cow feces all over me, so I wanted to go take a shower.
Yeah, he said he went to take a shower and go home. He had cow shit all over him. But no, yeah, Cole definitely went out. And he actually got a number. I don't know if anyone has saw that. But everyone's kind of just like denying, I guess, but they definitely went out.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like a weird thing for Zay to lie about in that moment. I was like, of all the things to lie about, that particular thing seemed weird.
Yeah, she definitely. I don't think she would have lied about that.
Yeah, I know, and also I just don't understand how Cole could then be like, oh, like apparently he told her, and then he was denying that he'd even told her, but the lies were sketchy.
Yeah.
Do you think that the girls like got done a bit dirty this season? Because let's be honest, most of the men were younger than the girls. Not what's the polite way of saying broke? Maybe like not as advanced in their careers.
Yeah. You know, I also think you have to, with guys, maybe this is just a hot take, going on a reality TV show, like, not a lot of guys probably want to like sign up for that. And I don't know. You always have to be careful when you're dating someone on a guy, especially on a reality TV show. Like with women, I feel like it may be like a little bit different. With guys, it's like, why are you here? You're always like questioning that. So maybe they just get like Scrabbly Bunch. I got lucky with him. But yeah, I don't know. They definitely weren't as advanced in their career for sure. Well, you were. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I felt like Matt was probably the only one.
It was like Matt, SK, and then yeah, I mean
SK, he's a student.
he. What is he? Well, yeah, but Berkeley's really good. Berkeley's a really good school,
Okay,
and I
did
think.
they pay you to be a student?
um, no, I think he had a job before then. Like I think he was in engineering or something. I could be totally wrong. Yeah,
No, I think somebody else did that too. Yeah.
I don't. Well, because I think it's grad school, so I think he had a job before then, before going to
Okay. Well,
Berkeley.
also, just while we're on the topic, I might as well get like your little hot take on that as well. Did you see the TikTok about SK's messages with that girl?
I saw one, but I don't know. I try not to look at it just because like they don't know SK and Raven, obviously. And so I'm gonna go with what I know. And they're good. Like I saw Raven.
Hey,
What was that?
the girl knows. The girl knows SK.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. But no, I saw Raven last night and she's like, yeah, we're good. They're fine, they're solid. So I try not to give it any attention unless Raven wants to give it attention. But it sounds like to me that it's nothing really of a big deal.
Okay, well, good for them. Like, I'm obviously rooting for Raven. Like,
Obviously.
okay, so we'll talk like a little bit about the weddings, and then we'll move on to the reunion, and then I will graciously let you get on with your day. um, so the weddings, had you guys spoken before? Because I think a lot of people were actually surprised that both of you had said yes. I think maybe people were expecting at least one of you to say no. Had you guys spoken before and you were like, okay, we're not gonna like heartbreak each other at the altar, like I'm saying yes, and you had that confirmation before?
So we talked the night prior and the morning of the wedding. And both were on the same page of if someone says no, that's okay. Like we're still going to be together. but that just won't mean that we won't be married. We never were like, oh, if you don't embarrass me or anything like that. Like, it's a TV show. Like, someone could one of us could say no, and that's fine, and we'll be together. So we won't like make a scene about it if someone says no. But there was a part of us where we like, I want to say yes. Like, we've had several conversations leading up to the wedding where we wanted to say yes, but we didn't know if we were there yet necessarily, because we were having those fights. And I know a lot of people, the whole lease thing is whatever, but he lived in Fort Worth at the time, which is an hour outside of Dallas. So you also had that whole situation of like, how are we going to do this? Because that technically, it's not long distance, but it's some sort of distance relationship. So on the lines of like Raven and SK, like, how are we going to do the whole living situation? So we had all these question marks, but there was a part of us that wanted to say yes. So we talked that morning of and that night prior, or we were just like, if we say yes, then we're doing the leap of faith and we're happy with that. If we say no, then we're still going to be together and we're also going to be happy with that. So regardless of the outcome, we were going to be together.
But so are you not allowed to confirm with each other before the altar? Do you have to kind of say, like, if we say yes, we say no, but you can't actually give them a definite answer? I
don't think you
probably weren't supposed to talk.
Maybe we weren't supposed to. I don't know. But I don't know. I think that because Alexa and Brennan I think they even confirmed, like, I watched their podcast yesterday, that they said every day that they were going to say yes. They confirmed that they were going to say yes to each other. I don't know if, I don't know what if you can say that or not, but we talked regardless, and we were like, okay, we're like, if you say no, then that's okay. If I say no, that's okay as well.
Okay. And was there, like, whose, like, wedding were you most shocked by? Did you know that Zanab was going to do that?
No, we were all I would say Alexa and Brennan was the only wedding that we were like, yeah, that makes sense. SK and Raven, we had no idea what was going to happen. Seneb and Cole, no idea what was going to happen. We knew that we had a feeling that they weren't going to get married. Obviously, they were not compatible, but we didn't. And Nancy and Bartise, we also like had a feeling that they weren't going to get married, but we didn't know who was going to say no. We didn't know if it was going to be dramatic. So we had honestly no clue about any of the weddings, except Alexa and Brennan, like, that was given.
Yeah, I think that was the one that, like, didn't shock any of us either.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about the weddings and the marriage, people in the comments want to know where your wedding ring is.
Oh, it's in my. Do you want me to go get it? I'm getting ready for it.
No, I'm kidding. You don't have to.
It's over there. I just haven't. I also don't like rings on my fingers. I wear 3 rings. I wear 2 rings that my mom gave me, and then my wedding ring. And even that, I need to remind myself. Like, I don't like stuff on my hands.
Yeah.
So when I'm getting ready for I'm like, let me just be naked for a second,
Yeah, I guess also, like, when you're doing ballet and you have the bar and stuff, and you're like putting your hands on the bar.
Yeah. I'm like, today I'm partnering. We're getting ready for Nutcracker, so like that's always hard to like have. You don't want to like hit your partner's face or anything. So yeah, you want to be like as clean as possible.
See, guys, nothing untoward about the ring. It's just on the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the reunion, and then we can wrap up. You had already addressed, like, people are saying that you felt uncomfortable, you looked uncomfortable at the reunion. You have already addressed this. What you actually said was, going into the reunion, I was not in a good headspace, as I was dealing with a lot of anxiety due to the negative commentary I had endured during the first few episodes. While I knew what I had signed up for, at that point I was not prepared for the gravity of strangers critiquing my profession that I'm incredibly incredibly proud of, my character and tearing down my body physical traits. How is your headspace now?
I'm so much better. Like it just thank you. I just the first couple of episodes where I was seeing these comments. I'm literally, I know this is going to sound cringe to say, but I am like the nicest person you'll ever meet. And to see people say these such harsh things about me and just awful, it really got to me. Like I was crying constantly at dance, at work. I was just not in a good headspace, like I said. And the comments that really got to me were also, I know that I shouldn't give it light, but it just stung. Oh, she's too fat to be a ballet dancer, and just going in on my weight. And you know, it just baffled me that all these people want like body positivity and everything, but those are the same people that were tearing down my body. It was just really disgusting to see. And you can't build thick skin in a day. I didn't have thick skin, but now I'm actually really surprised with myself. I keep my comments on, but I don't look at the comments. It's just the same thing over and over and over again, but in different sentences. So, you know, I could do much better with my time. So yeah, I'm much better, but during the reunion, I felt like I couldn't talk. Like I felt like anything that I said, I would be criticized for. I cry a lot. That's just my go-to emotion. And I felt like I couldn't cry. So when you see me like holding in tears, I'm thinking of the comments saying, "Oh, here we go again with tears." You know, I didn't want to cry. So during that entire filming of the reunion, I'm cutting off Matt's circulation. I'm holding onto his hand so tight so that I don't like have a panic attack on camera. So yeah, it was crazy what people were saying that it was because of him, but he honestly helped me just not break down, because those comments are just ruthless. But now I'm much better.
So how is he dealing with the backlash? Because I mean, oh, hold on 1 minute. That's my app telling me that I should get off TikTok. um, how is he responding to the backlash? Because we will talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room is that people are like, oh, Colleen is in an abusive relationship, like Matt is an abuser.
So the first day that he started getting backlash was on my birthday. And, you know, he was such an angel, honestly. I could see like he was getting scared. And he was like, being called those things is one of the worst things that you can call someone. And especially like for your reputation, like thousands of people saying that about you, you just, I mean, he tried his best to not let this affect my birthday. So I just remember we went to dinner and he was just like, I could tell something was wrong, but he didn't want to talk about it. Like he was like, we're fine. Let's celebrate you. And he just wanted, also I was still dealing with a lot of the negative stuff, and he was trying to make me feel okay and help me out. So in the first, like I would say, week when he got the backlash, he was holding it in, and I would tell him like, it's okay, let's talk about this stuff. And we've had several conversations. It's just absurd what people will jump to a few scenes that really don't provide that much, kind of what I said earlier, don't provide that much context. There's so much more that is happening. And there were a lot of factors that were also happening when we were filming, you know, going back to your schedule of work, meeting family and friends in such a condensed time. Are we getting married? You know, you have this new fiance. He was dealing with a work stress at the time. So it was just like a lot of these other outside factors, and he wanted everything to be perfect. And a lot of on top of those insecurities that he still had from his past that I don't think he knew were still there. So he was just dealing with a lot. And we're well past all of that. Like as soon as the cameras left, it was like a weight was lifted off of our shoulders. And it's crazy. He's one of the calmest people that I know. The first thing that comes out of his mouth now, if we ever come into any sort of disagreement, he's like, how do we compromise on this. Like, you know, he's very much like doesn't want conflict, doesn't want any of that. So yeah, it's really sad to see what people are saying, and I'm his number one cheerleader. I'm his supporter, so I'll kick someone's ass if they start talking shit about him. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, my balls have really grown. So everyone just needs to just kindly fuck off. I'm gonna go crazy on them, but yeah, it's really sad. But he's doing much better compared to like the first couple weeks from Backlash.
Okay, that's good to hear. I guess like you guys are just the comments are not even affecting you guys anymore, right?
No, I'm really surprised because I do let that stuff get to me. Obviously, like the reunion is a clear example of it. But no, we're fine. We're keeping ourselves busy with work and our family and our friends. My friend group is and my family. They're going in the comments. You'll see Mama Reed going at people who are talking smack about Matt. So we're just surrounding ourselves around family and friends and work to move on from these comments. And at the end of the day, it's just strangers that don't know us. And you can't, as soon as people's opinions are formed, you can't change them. So, you know, it's a losing battle.
Because I think maybe one reason, like why, oh, cute, bye.
I'm alive. Promise.
Have a good day.
All right, bet.
I was just going to say, I think one of the reasons why maybe people felt the need to comment or felt like they didn't have like maybe closure on your situation was just because we saw Cole taking heat at the reunion. Bartise, I mean, I've heard that Bartise did get grilled, but we didn't see it. What we saw was just a very light grilling, whereas I felt like not really to say that like it's other people's positions to speak up on it, but none of the girls had really said like, oh, but the things that Matt was doing was out of line as well. I guess perhaps because you guys were still together.
I after the reunion was done and then I saw those comments, I was like, wait, we didn't talk about this. And I wish that we would have been given the chance to talk. And I kind of say in some of the articles that have come out, I wish that we would have been asked and talked about it. I keep going back to saying, oh, we're well past it. It was a year and a half ago. Like, I'm telling you, when I watched the rest of the season and then we talked about it at the reunion, I didn't even think about like him yelling because I'm like, oh yeah, it's in the past. I was so concerned. I was being a little selfish. I was so concerned about me and the whole pool scene that I didn't even think about the whole fallouts afterwards. But you know, then I saw the reaction to everything, and I'm like, well, we should have provided more context. We should have talked about it. He wants to. He said a few times that he's come out and said that he would have handled those situations differently, and I would have liked, you know, for the cast to talk about their opinion on it. So yeah, I do wish that we would have been given the chance. We're not shy about talking about it. Like, we want to talk about it. We want to clear the air. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that, especially on a public platform, when there's so much conversation happening and you just don't talk about it, it's not going to go away. More questions are going to come up. So it's better to talk about it. And, you know, so I wish that we would have been given the chance.
Okay. And I guess that's kind of out of your control, you know, you can't. You're just sitting at the reunion like, by the way, Vanessa, I'm going to stop you right there. We would like to talk about Matt's issues.
I would have, but you know, the producers don't tell us what to talk about. They don't guide us or anything. All of those conversations are very real and come from us. And like I was saying, I guess I was just being a little bit selfish and mainly concerned about myself than with that whole all those fights and his reaction. But if I could do the reunion differently, I would bring it up myself for sure.
And did you feel sorry for Cole when Cole was crying?
I mean, he's crying, so, you know, I don't have a black heart. Of course, I feel sorry for him, and I also understand that pain. Why do I look like?
Have you not seen this on TikTok before? Like the people who are in and send you
No,
like animated hats and things.
no. That's funny. What was I saying? Oh, so I understood what Cole was going through because I was experiencing some of those comments, and I think that him crying was those comments were a part of it. But he also, I do feel that he felt sorry for how Zena was feeling due to him. So I did feel like sad for him, but honestly, like I'm telling you, like I was not focused on any of that. Like I was focused on myself and not having a panic attack. So yeah, I felt bad for him, but
But
yeah,
deserve.
not deserved, but I think that all of this would have been a lot. I think all this would have been resolved if they would have apologized and talked, or if he would have apologized and talked right
Mm.
after the wedding. Like, it would have been like because Bartise and Nancy, maybe that's why they stayed cordial like right after the wedding, and I'm pretty sure that Bartise apologized to her. I don't know. I don't know for sure, but maybe that's why they're like cool, and Zenab and Cole were not, because they literally didn't say anything to each other after the wedding. That was the first time they've talked.
Sure, but in fairness, Bartice was the one that let Nancy down at the altar, so Bartice needed to apologize. I'm like,
Oh,
I kind of feel like if Cole, if Zenab had said that to Cole at the altar, if somebody had said that to me at the altar, I mean, they obviously wouldn't because I wouldn't treat them that way in the first place.
hmm.
But I totally understand why he wouldn't want to reach out to her. Like she's just humiliated him, and I get that obviously he had humiliated her before that, but
Hmm.
then for her to have done it back to him, she obviously like it's over. So I don't know. I don't. I can see why he
That's,
didn't reach out. I'm
yeah,
saying.
it's for sure tricky because then you also have that she is telling this person why she feels that way and why she's saying no, but then you're at the altar. So it's definitely a tricky situation that, they're just not ever going to be friends. Obviously, they weren't compatible. It's just two people that need to go completely in their own direction.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and just before we go, just because I've asked everybody else and the reunion made such a big deal about this, we're going to just talk briefly about the cutie scene.
Hmm.
What was like your sound off on that?
Um, so when I first saw the cutie scene, I I don't know, like my gut reaction was like, oh, there it is. Um, kind of, because when someone is constantly saying these comments to you, obviously you're gonna pick apart situations that might not be a big deal, but a big deal to you. And I think that we all, as a public, kind of forgot about uh, the the ranking. Even though she asked, I haven't watched it, so I don't know if she asked or he asked. Regardless, he still said that she was a 9 out of 10, and two other women were 10 out of 10s. Um, he the Lily and Zenib comment,
Mm.
him coming up to me, like he still said things on camera and off that obviously get to you. And um for me personally, if someone was constantly saying those things, I would pick apart situations. So I think that the cutie scene, might not have been a big deal, or is not a big deal to the public, but to her, when she's hearing when she is just hearing just one little comment about what she's eating, she's like, ugh, and that is, and I think that just really stuck out to her in her memory and her mind. Um, it's unfortunate what people are saying about her, and like the gravity, like how many people are saying stuff about her. So it's really sad. Um, but yeah, I think that's all I can really say about that is, I know people don't like to hear it, and I'm sorry, but then talk about something else then. I'm telling you, I've been such a bitch now to the public, but yeah, it was
Do it.
yeah, it was not a big deal, I think, to the public, but to her it was a big deal. So yeah.
So just quickly, do you talking about these other things that Cole had said, things that you had heard, can you tell us like some of the things that you had heard him say that we didn't see?
Um, I've heard that, again, this is not me trying to drag him or anything. I just heard that he said she was the biggest girl he's ever been with. Um, and then that's pretty much like the other comment that I heard. I'm trying to remember. I just remember that he was always making her feel insecure for her weight and for her ethnicity, like his family not meeting her and like refusing to even FaceTime. Like obviously that gets to someone. So that was the only
Do you
really comment that I knew of. Sorry.
do you think his family didn't meet her because her name was Zenab?
I don't know. I don't want to put people's I don't want to talk I don't know. From my own perspective, I think that there was a lot going on because my family didn't want to be a part of the show. Like they did not want to be on camera. They didn't want to uh, do any of that. Like that's why my mom's not at the wedding dress shopping. Like she didn't want to be on camera. But we talked on the phone several times with Matt. Like they still wanted to like this is what I decided to do. I signed up for this and now I'm in love with someone, so they're going to support me. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a different dynamic in that in his family. I don't know if I'm I don't want to say, oh, it's because of her name's being Zeneb. So I honestly don't know why they refused to meet her, but it doesn't look great.
No, it doesn't. I mean, and also the fact that they were stalking her Instagram, but
Yeah.
wouldn't meet her.
But there's also chance of, oh, are they just, because I think he talked about it with her, like if they just don't support what he's doing in general, but that's kind of like messed up as well. So I don't know. I don't know about that one.
So the comment, what he said about her being the biggest girl that he'd dated, was that something that you heard him say, or did
Oh,
Zenab
sorry.
tell you that?
I didn't see that, but I heard not just from Zeneb, but from around the rumor mill that was said to her, not from the cast.
Okay. Okay, from like camera people, production.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I love it when you guys get nervous because I can see you being like, "Am I allowed to say this? Am I gonna?" Okay, well, thank you so much for speaking with me. Like, I've had such a lull, like speaking to all of you guys this week. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, thank you for talking with me. And it really is I'm like an open book when it comes to that kind of stuff. They probably get mad at me where they're like, Colleen, shut up. So I'm having a blast over here. But yeah, thank you for talking with me. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was so cute. Thanks again. I really appreciate you doing it so early in the morning as well.
Fine. Perfect on the dot too. I'm gonna eat my eggs and then go to dance.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'll let you get on with your day and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
How do I work this?
It's in the top right hand corner.
Oh,